Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Unravel Your Mind. We're here to transform relationships to love and life. Today's show, I'm super excited. We've got tons of questions. Last week, I had a bit of a glitch. Super excited to jump into these. But before I do, two different things this week. Number one, I have a question for you to start out the show. And number two, at the end of this episode, I'm actually going to ask a question from me, and to see what my higher self has to say. So I think that's going to be kind of fun. All right. So the first question is this. I've never done this before, but I have a question for you. And the question is, today I was on my spin bike and I get these incredible downloads when I'm spinning, right? And over the last several days, I've been rethinking about the subtitle of my book. Okay, so my book, you may be familiar, is Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics, Unraveling the Mind to Unveil Illusions. Okay, I get it. Some people hate the title, some people love the title. The subtitle, I love, of course, I wrote it. But the question is do people really get it? Like, do they know what the book is really about? And the answer, honestly, is no. So, okay, admittedly, I was stubborn with my publisher. I wanted that subtitle because that's really what it is. But most people are like, yeah, but we don't know what the heck the book is about. So I've been thinking about different subtitles. One of them was, okay, it'll come back to me. But the one that came today was How to Turn Assholes into Angels. What do you think? Could it be the subtitle to Angels, Herpes, and Psychedelics, How to Turn Assholes into Angels? Okay, so if you've read my book, in the notes, please say, I've read your book and you definitely pay this off, or you don't. If you haven't read my book, please comment and tell me if that would entice you to read my book or if that would turn you off to read my book. I really want to know. Like, I can't believe that I'm coming up with this subtitle because it's so like not me to say that. But as I was spinning, I was like, I gotta make it easy for people to understand. And turning assholes into angels is like really what I do in this book. I've had so many conversations that are not those words that have kind of led me there. And today it just all kind of clicked in. I'm not saying I'm changing it. I'm just saying, okay, I think that's an option. The other option, I might have to pull up my notes and actually read it to you, but it's something about transforming heartbreak, shame, and loneliness. A journey to transform heartbreak, shame, and loneliness. That's the other option, which I definitely do for myself. But remember, my book is intentionally intended to not be a how-to guide because it's your journey. Your soul has a plan, and I want you to find out what it is and be sure you're living it. So I give you my stories and I give you all my shit and all my bliss. And I tell you how I got into it. I tell you how I got out of it. And I give lots of tips, tools, modalities, techniques to help you. But you still have to do the work. And you still have to figure out, like, who are your assholes? Who are your devils? Who are your angels? Like, who are the ones you don't have to transform into angels? Like, but everybody has a purpose in your life. And so that's the crux of my book. A lot of people say, oh, they're just assholes. So a dear friend of mine, Barbara, I hope you're watching, she always says to me, like, I'll tell her stories about her. She says, well, why aren't you angry? And I'm like, well, because I don't feel angry. And then I'm like, one day I said, I mean, do you think maybe like I'm like secretly angry and I just like can't get in touch with it or something? I said, I don't feel that way. I feel like I have an emotion and I express the emotion because anger is just suppressed emotion. She's like, yeah, but when that person did that to you, how are you not just angry? And I'm like, well, because. And then I realized, and I'm sure this is for many of you watching, that as an empath, we know what their wounds are. Like we know, oh, it's their wounded inner child, or oh, we know that it was this or it was that. So we know like why they're acting that way, right? And then we want to give them all of the spiritual passes to actually, show up and be with us and do their journey and grow spiritually and all that kind of stuff, right? We want that for them. And that's why we stay with them. That's why we hold their hand. That's why we let them, continue to do ridiculous things and not do their own work, right? Thinking, hoping, wishing, seeing their potential, right? But we got to transform our relationships to love and life. And that's what the show is all about, right? And unraveling your mind. But maybe I just need to make it easier and just say how to transform your assholes into angels, right? Maybe that's that simple. So please, in the notes, I'm gonna get off my soapbox about that. In the notes, please comment. Let me know if that resonates for you at all, or if you think I'm just gonna come across as like totally wrong. Nothing's wrong, but like I have a softness about me, but I also have an edge to me, and I don't know. Maybe it's not the right subtitle. Maybe you have a better one. Maybe I don't need to change it at all. Maybe you'll love what I have. But let me know. Okay, now we're going to jump into the questions for today. So let's see here. Question number 1. 2 seconds. I've got lots of things happening here. Okay, question number 1 is, with the push of the holiday season in full swing, any new ideas on present moment awareness? Enjoying what's happening without being disappointed if it's not that festive or people are grumpy. Okay, well, I really do think I answered this right before the last episode. However, I want to answer it again because maybe something different will come through. So you can go back to my last video. I can put the link in here. But there's a twist to this one. It's about, how to not be disappointed, like enjoying what's happening. Because I think you've already answered the first part of the question, which is, any new ideas on present moment awareness. Yeah, just be present in that moment, right? And if that moment doesn't feel so happy, like you're talking to somebody that you're just like zoning out with at a holiday party of some sort, then find someone else, right? And put the smile on your face and stop thinking about all the things that you're not liking, and bring your own drinks, bring your own food if they don't have what you want. Just bring your happiness, right? And make a joke out of everybody that's there if they're grumpy. Look at them as the Grinch, right? We just went to a holiday thing and there was Santa Claus, and then outside they had the Grinch, right? And it's just like, we have to find a way to laugh more. I struggle with this all the time. I want to be super serious, but we have to laugh at these ridiculous situations that we get ourselves in. So look around the party, look for someone. I'm assuming this is a party, whether maybe it's a family gathering. Look for the brightest white light in the room and go up to them and ask them a fun question. Hey, what's the best thing that's happened to you this holiday season? Or, gosh, we're getting down to the end of the year. Or even if it's not the holidays and you're just like, hey, it's the start of the month. Like, is there anything like that you're just like really excited about this month that you're going to be doing, or, something you're looking forward to? Or, gosh, what was the best thing that happened for you this month? Something that stands out, right? Start with those things. Stop with the politics, stop with the wars, stop with all of these serious conversations. We are not going to be with family and to go to be with friends to have like deep discussions. We're not there to save the world in those moments. Look, if you want to have those conversations, you can, but if you're not feeling happy about it, shift the topic, right? Be present in every moment. Now, the other thing when we're talking about being present, because sometimes people are like, what do you mean being present? How am I supposed to be present? A good trick is to do what I just did, which is take a deep breath, right? Take a deep breath in, but go into your belly, right? You want to be deep in your belly for that breath, because that breath is going to bring your awareness down here. And if you can, think about your tailbone. Think about your awareness all the way into your tailbone, because then what it does is it gets you out of the mind and the narrative and and so and such and all of that. And just go in and get grounded, right? Take that moment, just take the deep breath, focus your attention into your third chakra, right above your belly button, and then just take it down all the way to your first chakra and see your tailbone and feel the awareness. I'm doing it right now. And when I anchor into that spot, I just go, is there really anything we need to talk about? Of course there is, because that's what the show is all about, right? It's all about questions that we have and things that get us all riled up. So let's keep going on the questions, but hopefully that's helpful with the holiday season. I'm always happy if you have tips to put them in the chat. Okay, so next question. Along those lines, suggestions on riding the wave of enjoying the festivities without feeling overly deflated if you didn't get all you hoped you would. Well, first of all, just stop with the expectations, right? Every year we have expectations about the holidays. Why? I mean, just pretend like you don't get any gifts at all. Pretend like nobody's bringing anything to your house when you've invited them over. Pretend, whatever. Like, gifts are not everyone's love language. And I know that this isn't just about gifts. But everybody has a different way. Just stay really focused on the fact that you're in a house with heat and that you're in beautiful places and spaces and that you have people to network with and to enjoy the holidays with. And if you don't have people to enjoy the holidays with, you've still got some time. Whether it's the holidays or this is not a holiday time and you're just like looking for people to support you in your life, go looking for your tribe. They're out there. I know you got to just pull up the big boy pants and find the people. Sometimes it's hard, especially as we awaken. Our friends start to fall away and our interests start to change, and we're not interested in just going out and doing the same old grind. I get it. I'm there myself a lot of times. I'm like, I know I should just like go do something, but I'm not really interested in what everybody else is doing. So they're out there. There's more people. They're doing the same things that you're doing. They're awakening. They're wanting to have fun, and it doesn't mean in the traditional ways. So just find them. Sorry, I got a little off topic there because it's about enjoying the festivities without feeling overly deflated, right? Well, it's just because we went in with some expectation that someone or something was going to make us happy, that going to this event was going to make me happy. So it goes with the same question, or the first question. You always have to bring the happiness, right? Always. Happiness comes from within. As I say in my book, and as I like to call him my spiritual healer, Axel always says, you're just here to be the happiest mofo on earth. Yeah, I know. It doesn't always work for me either, but that is the North Star. That's the easy North Star to say, right? Is that we're just supposed to bring our own happiness here on planet Earth. And yes, things happen and we're up and we're down and we have emotions. So I'm not saying discount your emotions. I'm not saying don't feel them. I'm just saying that if you're going to a holiday party or you're going to someone's place, bring the happiness, bring the laughter, and just care a little bit less about everything. It doesn't mean you don't care. It just means you care less. All right, let's go to the next question. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Oh, good. We've got lots of holiday ones. For many people, it isn't. Suggestions on not comparing to what others are doing or have. Yeah, just don't do it. Just don't compare. Just when you see yourself going, oh, they've got that and I don't, stop right there and just go, what do I have? You have something. You have probably clean feet. You probably have water to drink. I don't mean to make it so basic, but I'm just trying to make it relevant for everyone. Get to the things that you do have and stop making the comparisons, because there is someone out there that has more than you, no matter who you are, whether you're Bill Gates or, I don't know, Jeff Bezos or whatever. Like, there's still somebody else that has more. And the reality is that it's not about the stuff you have. It's not about the things you've acquired. It's not about the house. It's not about the type of car. It's about the love in your heart, right? It's about doing the inner work so that you actually feel love within yourself and you can exude it to others. That love is the new currency. How rich are you? I wrote it in the intro. It's my practice every day. Some days I fail miserably. Some days I do a really good job. And I'm just able to just shine my light bright and just put it out there for everybody. And some days I'm like, really? This again? So we've got to bring the happiness. We've got to bring the love from our hearts, project it out. And then it's the law of attraction. And we start to attract that. We know how it goes. We show up to something grumpy and all we do is attract the grumpy people. Unless, we get an act of grace and some beautiful soul walks up to us and shifts our mood or our energy. And so stay in the now, stay in the moment of bringing your beauty to every situation in every present moment of now. I know it's simple, but sometimes not so simple. I get it. Okay, next question. I see all these people around me doing things to help others, to help the world, and I don't want to do it. I mean, if it happened organically and naturally, yes, but I want to live, run, jump, play, laugh, and do everything that sets my soul on fire. I'm getting I'm getting hits. I'm getting hit with this terrible feeling that I am an awful person. Well, my dear, you got it all going on because that is all it is about. It's about you being happy and it's about you doing what you love to do and about you igniting that soul on fire within. And we do get caught up with thinking that we're here to help everybody else. I love to help other people. I love to share wisdom. I love to share my pitfalls, my stumbles, my successes, my tips, tools, techniques. I love to do that. But that doesn't mean that everybody has to do that. And it doesn't mean that all my happiness has to come from there either, right? Like, yeah, I'm happy when someone says, "Gosh, I really loved your show. Whoa, your answer, it really helped me." I love that. I love helping people, but not everybody has to be that kind of helper. My happiness, if it's only anchored in that, that's what happens with famous people, right? Famous people start making blanket statements, but you know what I'm saying. Famous people start out and they get all this attention and they're just like, oh, so grateful, so grateful. And then it comes to an escalating level where they're just expecting it. And then when the disparity's not there of getting the external hit, right? The external hit of, oh, we love you, we love you, we love you. You're helping us, whether you're a songwriter or whatever. Then there's this weird glitch that starts to happen and people start to not see their own self-worth because they're looking for someone else to tell them that they've helped them or they've made them happy or whatever, whatever your career is. So I think it's great to stay in doing all the things that you want to do for yourself, because those are the places where you're going to have the happiness that brings every other opportunity to happen organically, as you said, right? Whatever that is. And if you're supposed to help someone, look, helping someone can be as simple as smiling at them at your favorite coffee shop. You, in some cases, you collectively, all of us, could save someone's life. Everybody's having a hard time, really. I mean, people that look the happiest sometimes are not. And making the eye contact and seeing someone, those are the little things that we need to contribute on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be some big show or, anything. It doesn't have to be that you have all these modules and you're selling self-help. No, it doesn't. So don't feel bad about that. You don't have to feel awful. I'm sure I have this feeling about you that you actually help a lot of people on a daily basis. So stop thinking that it has to be some glorified system or career to help others, because we do it every day. So yeah, don't worry about it. Of course, keep the lens on for, am I too self-centered? Like, have I only thought about myself in every situation? I mean, that's a little bit different. We're not talking about narcissism here. We're talking about, you don't have to do everything for everyone. So just dig a little bit into that for yourself, because I think there's something there about, why do you think you have to people please? I do this because I love it. I love answering questions on this show. I just love it. I don't do it because I have to, or I'm setting some goal that has to take place. My goal is to just show up, shine the light, and show the way. And so do the same. Shine your light. Show up. All right. Next question. So question number 5. I'd like to know your thoughts on discernment. What is it and how to use it? Great question. Discernment is kind of one of those, I think, can feel a little tricky, right? Because we want to use our discernment when we're getting a hit on something. And the hit the best is when we really get it in here, like that gut feeling, right? And I always say, still validate it. Look for validation markers out there. You get the hit and you feel it in your body, because the stuff in your body has truth. The stuff in your mind can come from lots of different places. It can come from those little cheerleaders, those little devils, the moms and dads, the people that influenced us when we're younger. So there's a lot of little voices there. Those aren't so trustworthy. And that's where the discernment really comes in. Is this a program that I'm running that's allowing me to see this situation as X, Y, or Z? Or is it really true that I really feel this and I'm getting a strong intuitive hit, right? So I'm using my discernment about this. It's different than saying right or wrong. Right or wrong means that there's a good or a bad. It starts to put a different lens on it. I hope you can feel the energy of that it's a judgment if we're saying right or wrong. Discernment is more like, I'm here, I'm inside myself, and I'm feeling for myself and using my own discernment. Do I feel good about that? And am I able to transcend the lens of which I'm programmed with that tells me, well, no, you should go do that? Because maybe you're not supposed to go do that. Maybe you know deep inside that person's just not a good person. You don't even have to figure out why. You just go, I'm using my discernment that doesn't feel right to me, and I'm going to go in this direction because of it. And I don't need to have the answers for it. Hopefully that helps. Discernment can be tricky, but it's really good when you're fine-tuning it, because then you know that you're really anchored into your soul and your inner wisdom, right? Because this whole show is about breaking through your beliefs to tap into inner wisdom, right? That's the whole premise here, is we've got to get beyond these programs of the mind that help us in many ways, but in others, not so much. They're just programs, and they tell us things that don't have truth. Okay, let's go to the next question. I can't wait to see what this one is. I'm living a nomadic life. I don't want to settle anywhere until I find partnership or community that is compelling for me to stay in one place. But my romantic relationships tend to be short-lived, primarily because I don't want to go deep with, because people don't want to go deep with a nomad. Do I pick a spot and stay still and see if my beloved shows up? Or do I keep traveling until I find someone whose wanderlust matches my own? The first thing that comes to mind is, don't think about it so much. I know that sounds so basic. You have a soul plan, as I know you know, and that person is going to walk in at the perfect time. And I don't know that there's a whole lot you need to do other than keep your eyes open, because you're meeting all these people that are saying, yeah, I don't want to live a nomadic lifestyle. Well, great. Then you know they're not your person. At least they're not your person now. Who knows? Maybe they change their mind in a year, 2 years, whatever, 2 months. Say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for that person. Thank you for that person. It can get exhausting, I know. But that person, when they show up, you'll go, oh, yes, I get it. They feel. You've had this before, I'm certain of it. And you won't be trying to compromise so much. Like, yes, there's compromise, but you'll feel the divinity in the connection. And until then, it doesn't matter. Just have fun. Don't think about it. Think about what that person looks like, smells like, feels like, and not even think, dream about, right? Just vision about, have that inner knowing, that feeling that person's coming your way. It might not be for a year. I know that's not the answer you want, but it could be 1 month. It could be 1 week. Don't sacrifice or settle. I wouldn't stop going in your nomad way to try to anchor down somewhere, because then you're just trying to be something you're not. Stay as long as spirit says to stay. Now, for some reason, what's coming up for me right there is that you may be running a little too fast. It's a different thing, right? If you feel that you're running away from a location because, well, I didn't find what I wanted, or maybe I did find something I wanted, but I'm going to run from it. So I don't know, that just came forward. Just think about it, feel into it. Like, am I running? Maybe I should be somewhere longer, not because I should be, but because I'm running from something. And maybe staying somewhere a little bit longer is the answer. Only you know. And I know you know that. I'm just here to reflect what your higher self and my higher self are saying to each other to help you. Because, that mind, it gets in the way. That's why we're trying to unravel it. We just want to get to like the source of the crux of, what to do, where to go, who to be with. And you're on it. So yeah, I think I got that answered. Don't want to settle anywhere until I find partnership or community. Yeah, don't. Find your community, find your tribe. You'll know it. And enjoy the journey while you do, right? That's the most important part, as you know, and as you are, and just pay attention. Am I running? Okay, let's go to the next question. I'm considering doing psychedelics. You talk a lot about psychedelics, but always say good things. Is there a flip side to doing psychedelics I should know about? Yeah, another great question. I love that this is being asked because I don't know that I ever really say anything bad about psychedelics because I see so much benefit with psychedelics. And in the last chapter of the book, that's why it's on the cover, I do talk about how I did step into sacred psychedelic journeys to expand consciousness. That was my main goal. It's also a great way to get in there and see those wounds and the subconscious mind and things that are not serving our highest good. And there are some downsides. One of the downsides is if you're not really ready, meaning not as a judgment, but like if you're not ready, like you're doing it for somebody else, or you're not doing the work, you're not preparing for it, you're not setting an intention, you're just like going and just showing up and kind of loosely, like whatever, maybe you're drinking alcohol the night before or doing all those things you do, then you might not be taking it with the intention of which the medicine can do the depth of the work. And the downsides of that is that when you are in, and all psychedelics are not the same, let me just say that, so I'm speaking very broadly and generally here. But when you do psychedelics, you are shutting off your default mode network. In some cases, you are increasing your neuroplasticity, and you are opening up your aura, your energy, your soul, really, so that you can see from your soul's perspective, your God's eye view, something more about your life that you're sheltering yourself from. When you do that, you open yourself to more dimensions. And in those dimensions, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. At the end of the day, it's all oneness. At the end of the day, it's just going vertical and it's just going to this highest place. I don't want anyone to get too caught up in all these different dimensions, all the way up to the top of oneness. But you got to know that they're there because a lot of hijacking happens, a lot of walk-ins happen, a lot happens. If you're not with the right server, you're not in a safe set and setting, it can be freaking scary when you open those doors, when you open those dimensions, when you have an astral travel and you don't know what you're doing and you're not with somebody that can hold a safe space. That's terrifying. That is terrifying. Don't do that. When you do the work, and I have a guide, it's bethbell.me/psychedelics. You can just go to bethbell.me and go to the nav bar. I have a guide, a psychedelic resource guide. It gives tons of tips, tools about how to find an appropriate server, where it's legal, all information on all of the psychedelics that are out there. I link you in right to really trusted places to get information. Check it out. Go to bethbell.me. It's really important. I feel like Spirit guided me to psychedelics simply to be a spokesperson to help guide others on safe set and setting with servers who know what they're doing. It's so important. It makes all the difference. I know there's a lot of people that do recreational psychedelics. If it's your thing, it's your thing. It's not mine. And I'm not comfortable saying, yeah, just go out and go to a rave. You can disagree with me. It's fine. It's just, this is where I'm at with it. It's a sacred experience to open up your aura. And I've seen people do crazy things. I've seen people go off the rails. And it's not because of the psychedelics. It's because they are not taking accountability and responsibility for their own journeys. So let's leave it at that. Be accountable, be responsible, and know that these are sacred tools, whether you're healing trauma, expanding consciousness, or just having fun. Take them seriously. Where you're at when you're opening yourself, take it seriously, and you'll have a different experience. And do the integration work. That's the other reason why I'm here to talk about psychedelics. Is it's all about integration work. You can get shown the most beautiful oneness, but until you can embody it here in this dimension, none of that matters. And if you're just going to do a psychedelic to go out there, but you're not doing the work here, then you're just doing drugs. It's a slippery slope. Psychedelics technically, I would say, are not addictive, but just like we might say Krispy Kremes aren't addictive, sugar is addictive, right? It's addictive because our mind, our brain chemistry, different things become addicted to it. It's different than some of the dopamine receptor sites. So they work differently, and that's why they're not as addictive. But we can get ourselves addicted to anything. So just keep that in mind. Do the work, pre and post. All right, let's go on to the next question. My partner and I have not been intimate for almost 10 years. I want to have a physical, intimate relationship with someone. So I spoke with her about my needs, and she's given me permission to be with someone sexually as long as I don't fall in love or leave her. Any advice on how I can pursue this? Well, lots of thoughts. First of all, I would go deeper into why are you not having sexual relationship with your wife? And if that is a no-go, then I don't know why you're staying married. I'll just be really blunt and honest. Because that's why you marry someone, is to have an intimate relationship with them. Unless they're debilitated, handicapped in some way, there's no reason. And even then, I would have a different answer, but I'm not going to go down that route right now. I'm going to answer the question based on what you asked me, because I don't believe that your wife is debilitated in that way. Look, if it's vaginal dryness, go to the OBGYN, get some lubes, get, a whole nother topic, but, hormones help. Bioidentical, made from yams. I take them myself, love them, super helpful. Testosterone, right? There's lots of different things that can help. But if you don't have that bond, that's why you're married, is to have that bond. You can have a best friend, that's fine. But then treat that person like your best friend, not your wife. Right? Or just stay in that system of I'm married and I'm going to stay married. But honestly, if you want something more, you got to go for something more, because life is too short. And if you're trying to preserve something, your family, your house, your structure, I get it. I get all those things. But the reality is that we're here as human beings to connect with other people. And if you're looking to just have a physical relationship with someone and you're not going to fall in love with them, which is possible for a lot of men, but almost impossible for a majority of women, then honestly, what you're looking for is a hooker. You're looking for someone who doesn't want to have any emotional attachment to you and just wants to have the physical act. And okay, I'm in a different camp. I don't see the value in that. I know there's people that do, and that's fine if that's your thing, but we're here to connect at a heart level. There's nobody that writes me a question here that isn't a heart-centered person. So I'm going to make the assumption that this question is coming from someone who's very heart-centered, and to think that you can go into a relationship and not create a bond with another is a pipe dream. It's unrealistic. We naturally create bonds with people. Sometimes they're very unhealthy ones, especially when they're only sexual, physical intimacy. Then that bond is very different than a true unconditional loving bond. It comes with lots of darkness. And I don't think any of us here calling into this show want to dabble into that darkness. So find someone that you really want to be with and can grow with physically, emotionally, spiritually, in a sexually intimate way. That's really important for all of us. Or stay where you are and live out the status quo. But that does not bring growth. That does not bring happiness. And that's why you're pursuing it. But it's not going to be something or someone that you can just find to have a physical, wham bam, thank you, ma'am type relationship. If you are, it's just the wrong place to ask the question. Then go ask 1-800, whatever. But that's where I'm at with that. So hopefully that's helpful. Let's go on to the next question. My boyfriend and I broke up about 2 weeks ago. He's going to be returning some of my personal items in the next week. I'd prefer not to see him when he comes. Do you think I should tell him to drop my items at the door and avoid seeing him? Well, I think there's a couple of things here. So it depends upon where you're at and your ability to be in a blissfully neutral state. I mean, the idea here is that we can see all of our assholes out there, and I'm not saying this person's an asshole. I'm just saying we can see all the assholes out there and still smile, right? It doesn't mean that we agree with them. It doesn't mean that we are accepting their behavior, but it means that we've come to a place of inner peace where we can just be within ourselves, right? And that we can still see them and not be triggered, right? And that's okay. If you get triggered, then fine. Then just that's another area of opportunity for you to feel into, what that trigger is all about. And I have to admit that this was the last question that I was going to offer. That is my question. But I think there's two more questions that have come in here. So I'm kind of answering this before the very end of the show. And the reality is that I did that exercise with myself. And I said, no, I don't want to be running away from this or like avoiding this, right? But the universe provided just the perfect situation that I didn't expect, which is I got a beautiful invitation to go do something that I really want to do. It's a holiday event, and I'm really wanting to go and be in communion with incredible friends. And so it overlaps with the time that my stuff is going to be dropped off. So it'll just be a time when they have to drop it at the door, and that's okay. And I just said, if I'm not home, you can put it at the door. It wasn't because I'm intentionally trying to avoid them. I actually had made the decision that no, I'm going to be here. And, if I'm meant to be, and accept the things and smile and wish them well, right? And then the universe came and gave me another situation. I'm like, oh gosh, thanks. Okay, I get it. I feel really at peace with this. I feel really good about this. I feel like this is just how it's supposed to be, is that I'm just not here when the stuff comes, right? And so it's all good. It's all good. I've done the work. I know where I'm at. I'm in a peaceful place. I feel great. And and I know for sure that the person that's dropping off stuff is not watching this video, because that was part of the crux of the breakup, was them saying, I just can't sit and watch you talk about all these things because I don't believe them, right? Thank you. Right? Thank you for being so honest and hurtful, but honest, that we can both just walk away knowing that we are in such a beautiful place of non-partnership, right? But it's really important to be in that place, and it's really important to do the work so that you can actually allow that relationship to leave, because people earn the right to leave relationships. It makes me think a long time ago when I was a district manager in big pharma, my boss had said to me, I had to fire someone. It was the first person that I had ever in my life had to fire. I felt terrible. Oh my gosh. I was just like, oh, but what? Maybe I should have coached him differently. Maybe I should have done this. Maybe I should have done that. And I was beating myself up, even though I knew that, there was this, and this, right, that was happening. And he looked at me and he said, Beth, one thing you need to know is that people earn the right to leave. And it stuck with me all these years. And I'm just like, yes, people earn the right to leave. Let them go, right? So whether it's work, love, family, whatever it is, when people earn that right to leave, let them go. So there you go. That was my personal question. I was just curious to see what my higher self was going to say. And then all these things kind of happened in the interim, and it's all just blissfully taken care of for me. Okay, so we've got a couple more questions that have come in, so I want to get to them. I'm suffering from loneliness. I desire to have other humans by my side, whether it's to sit with me on a video call or to be with me in person. I don't want to be needy though. How do I navigate this without annoying everyone or having them think I'm unstable? Well, first of all, you may be unstable. What's wrong with that? Maybe just accepting that there's times in our life where we just do not have our shit together because we're emotionally a mess. There's nothing wrong with it. That's being human. Happens to me. I don't like to be out of control either with that kind of stuff, but sometimes I am, right? Sometimes the narratives just keep going. So it's okay. Be unstable in those moments and call the people that you can trust to be vulnerable with. Don't call the assholes, right? Don't call the people that you know are going to tell you that you are unstable. Call the people that you know love you unconditionally no matter what. Whether it's a parent, a best friend, an old boyfriend, a current partner. But if they can't hold the space for you, and you know who they are, if they can't hold the space for you, then don't call them. Don't go to them. Don't expect that they can help sit with you through your darkest moments. And if you feel like you don't have anyone to call, I think you do. I think there's someone to call. I think you might have to just go a little bit deeper in there. And the one person that you can always call is your higher self. You can always go vertical. You can always go up and tune in. And if you can't get a hold of someone, that one person that you trust, they're not available, like you know that they can be, then speak to them in another dimension. Okay, I know that sounds weird and crazy and whatever, but pretend in that moment in a way that's really legit, that you're actually having a conversation with them, that you're actually able to connect with them, because you are. You can connect with people in another spirit realm. Let me say it this way. You think, oh, I wish I could call, let's just say my sister. If you sat and thought, if my sister was on the other end of this line and I asked her this question, what do I think she would say? I bet you're gonna hear her voice. You're gonna hear what she really would say to you. And you're gonna be able to have that conversation in another realm. And so it's not about being crazy and, talking to, I just want to say that it is very possible for you to have conversations with people who are even passed on, crossed over. And it's a lot longer conversation and probably requires a lot more explanation, which is sort of why I'm sort of hesitating. But just use that example. If it's a sister or someone that you know that they would actually hold space for you, but maybe they're just not available, what would they do? Or here's another one. Okay, everybody we're wearing these wristbands for the longest time. What would Jesus do? Right? So if you're a Christian and you're really about Jesus and his teachings, what would Jesus do? What would God do? What would Buddha do? What would someone do? What would the Dalai Lama do? What would Wayne Dyer do? Go to the people, whoever those people are. They're authors. They're people that maybe you've listened to all their tapes and all of their stuff. There's always someone available to you. You have so many guides, so many angel guides. Start tapping into that. Start asking their name. Start really journaling, asking the questions. That's how you tap into your higher self. That's how you go vertical. That's how you get out of the shitstorm. That's how you know you're not alone, because you're not. You hear a voice in your head all the time. It's just unfortunately the one that's not the cheerleader a lot of times, right? You're hearing the voice that's telling you this shitty stuff. So talk to the other voices. You know what I'm talking about. And this isn't crazy stuff. This is like, these are the voices that tell me that I am not good enough, or blah, 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 whatever the silliness is. Talk to the other team. They're there. They're always there. And you don't have to have a human on the other end of the line to listen. And also just know, well, when am I being ridiculous? Like, when am I taking this too far? When am I being too needy? When am I there is a reality to that. So I don't want to discount that part of it, but you know when that is. You know when it's appropriate and when it's not. Tap into your inner child. Ask her, do I really need someone right now? Maybe it's yes. Do I not? Can I do this on my own? Can I journal it out? Can I, just really get in there, get deep in it. And maybe use the exercise we started with, which is take the deep breath deep into the belly and just anchor in to that tailbone. Like, it just brings you right here, right? Because we spend all of our time, a lot of times, from here up in our heads. And that's where all the anxiety comes. So just stay here. Stay here inside. Spend a minute. Can you feel when you breathe in? Can you feel your belly come out? Can you feel that? It's basic stuff. Breath, that is spirit. Spirit flowing through you. Your breath, right? That is your connection. It's the only way that you're alive. You can't live without breath, right? Okay, let's go to the last question that we have here for today, because I think, we are down to the wire. All right, I'm dealing with aging parents from afar. Sometimes I feel guilty for being so far away. I find it difficult to travel with various school and work schedules. However, my parents are far away with too much time on their hands. Any advice on how to balance this or feel better about it? There's so many things right now that we can do to stay in touch with loved ones. I lived in Asia for 7.5 years, and I got really good at FaceTime. Back then it was Skype, right? Zoom. Find a way to get your parents, if they're not super tech savvy, to get on. I mean, I'm sure they have a phone. Get them on FaceTime and make something fun of it. Like, actually schedule a family gathering, whatever it is. Not at 11:11 Pacific time on Sundays. I want you on the show, but sometime, maybe it's Sunday evenings, right? Just before you're about to wind down the weekend and you're about to start the next week. And have something that you want them to bring and something you're going to bring. Like, hey, let's talk about the best thing that happened to us this weekend. And then maybe one thing I'm struggling with and I just need support on. I know it sounds cheesy, but it doesn't have to be. It can just, I think you'll find really meaningful conversations, because I also know that if we don't have something that we're like bringing to talk about, that then we end up talking about their ill health or their weather or like stuff that you really aren't interested in. And that makes it just not very much fun. So find topics that are fun. And maybe it's you bringing a majority of the topics, because maybe you have children and you're going to say, here's 3 things that happened in the family this week, or 3 things that happened with my child or your grandchild, and bring that as sort of the light and the center of the conversation. And then whatever comes of it, whatever they have to share, right? But then you just have something that you're coming to the table with. It makes it a lot more fun, because then you know that there's something that you're giving and you're getting out of it. And maybe it's 3 times a week. Does it have to be once a week? I talk to my parents actually a lot. Like, I don't know. Mom, if you're watching, write in the comments. But I think I talk to them at least 3, if not 4. And in some cases 5 times a week. Even when I lived in Bali, like, I did that all the time. Like, it was super early my time. I don't know what it was, 6 a.m. or something, and 4 p.m. in the afternoon their time. And we just kind of had that as our touch base time. And I think I talked to them almost every day. I did it partly because I just wanted to stay in touch, and I did it partly because I knew that they worried about me. They worried about me being alone, living by myself, being in a foreign country. Even though I was in Asia for 7.5 years, I knew it was just a way to help reduce worry for my mom, But most importantly, it was a way to keep us connected, for me to know what's going on in their life, so I knew how are they doing, but that they also knew what was going on in mine. So I don't think, don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. Feel into, like, am I really not doing like what I want to be doing? Do I really not want the connection? And if you don't want the connection, then maybe it's time to have that difficult conversation to say, Mom, I don't want to talk to you a lot of times because you're negative, right? Not my mom. I'm just saying in general, like whatever it is, like just get it out on the table. Like I'd call you more, but every time I do, all we talk about is the weather and it's depressing for me. Can we talk about something else? And like how you say it, don't say it like I just said it, is super important. Find out, hey, maybe there's one thing you can tell me about your day. So when we talk, we know, or maybe it's just a text. Feel into it. Don't feel guilty. Feel into what you feel in your heart center is like the thing that you really want to do with your parent or parents, right? And make it fun, because if it's not fun, then why do it, right? I think you'll find that they'll come around. Parents typically, even if they're volatile relationships, want to be in connection. And if they don't, find somebody else that you think of as your parent if you feel like you need that parental. I'm kind of flipping the question now to, like, if you feel like you need something more, like you're the more like one that wants to connect. Yeah. All right. I hope today's been helpful. If you've liked any part of today's video, please like and subscribe and hit the bell, and you'll be notified about upcoming shows every Sunday, 11:11 Pacific time. Thank you so much to everyone who has submitted questions. I appreciate it. It makes the show just so much fun. And oftentimes there's a theme. So this one was a lot about the holidays, a lot about interacting with others. And I so hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait for next week. So please submit your questions in private messenger or on this chat. And I look forward to seeing you next week, 11:11 on Sundays.